Welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
Your 96 best place to listen to...
For 10 years.
Yes, for our 10th season of our mostly up-to-date...
And unqualified. And unrequested.
ramblings of the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello everyone, welcome to our Cricket World Cup review and kind of review for the next one.
Yeah.
Or next World Cups. But I think we all are kind of happy with New Zealand's performance. Like, I'm not happy with Bangladesh's performance, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I was fairly happy with New Zealand's performance. I mean, I think we ended up sort of where we deserved almost. Like, we struggled in our games against India and South Africa and Australia. Well, Australia was just a bit of
Australia was a close game. New Zealand should have won the game, to be fair.
To be fair, should have won that game. And the Indian game, the India just played really well. In the semi-final, they played even more outstanding, though New Zealand did a very good job of almost chasing down a ridiculously high score.
Well, it was not the batting that was the weak point of this team, right?
No. Surprisingly, yes, the bowling seems to be the biggest problem there. Though they were still good, I guess we've always struggled a bit with our bowling in India anyway, in the subcontinent, so I guess that just continued.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think Santner started off pretty good in the tournament, but Ish Sodhi couldn't back him up when we had spin-friendly pitches, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed that Ish had a bad tournament, but obviously the batting was really good. Daryl Mitchell, Rachin Ravindra had incredible tournaments.
Yeah.
Even Kane Williamson, what little we saw of him was really, really good.
Yeah.
Tom Latham, I think, might be slightly disappointed. We thought he was going to have a monster World Cup, I think.
Yeah, but he normally does very well in India, Latham, so it has been a bit disappointing. And I don't think we're pushing ahead a little bit, but the first test against Bangladesh was just completed. He didn't have that great a test match either, so seems to just be in a little bit of a slump. I know, Tom Latham's a very class act, and he'll come out of it and be once again world class, but just
absolutely
unfortunate timing for his for a bit of batting form decline.
Even Conway had he didn't have bad form. Like, he got a start in every game. Like, obviously he scored a couple of centuries.
Yeah.
But Rachin obviously had a magical tournament, which he'll remember for the rest of his life.
Yeah. No, he had an outstanding tournament. Almost could call him the player of the tournament, given that the other ones that are at that head of that conversation are the known people. Virat Kohli. I'd say he's not an awesome one, but Ravinder's like the new one there. So the youngest, first World Cup, just being amazing and just having the time of his life. There's not really anybody else really in the different lists of that you would call new and upcoming. Like, it's very familiar names most of the way down, in different aspects. But I mean, for us in New Zealand, Ravinder's not that new, but
it's him and Gill, right? Those are the two up and coming great bats of the next generation. At the moment.
Exactly.
And maybe that guy from South Africa who scored a 20-ball century or something like that, like something ridiculous. Rachin Ravindra and Gill are basically the guys who are up there in the next generation. I'm sure Prithvi Shaw, Shreyas Iyer will have stuff to say.
Yeah.
But, like, in England, for Australia, Marnus is good in test matches, but he's not really what I would call like a 3 formats great. And Now, so Rachin Ravindra obviously had a great tournament, but I think Daryl Mitchell also had a really good tournament. To be fair, I think he should have led New Zealand to a victory against the Australians. That match could have been a turning point of the tournament, but it was not to be.
Such as it is sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. But so yeah, Mitchell definitely also had a great tournament, undoubtedly. He's 5th top scorer. So yeah, Ravinder and Mitchell 4th and 5th in the top scorers, or most runs list for batters, which is very awesome for New Zealand. So yeah, it's just ridiculous how good he was, and Mitchell's continued that on obviously in the Test match with Bangladesh as well. That's good, and hopefully we see more of Ravinder as well. Because obviously, I mean, he wasn't really scheduled to play in the tournament, but he got a chance in the opening match and just absolutely nailed in the spot really for the whole tournament. Just made himself undroppable.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's batted all over as well. So it's basically the flexibility of youth, right? They got that to work. And he was up for the challenge. So him and the team obviously reaped the benefits of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in some games, he just literally looked like he couldn't get out. Both him and Mitchell played very, very well. As we said, Williamson played very, very well. Even Will Young got some great performances in. So the next cab after, like, he's not the next cab because he's him and Chapman are technically they're older than Ravindra, right?
Yeah. They're Ravindra's the next cab. They're the cab before, pretty much. Like they've started their journey. They're getting into it. Along with Conway, sort of is there. I know Conway's been around a little bit longer than those two, but they're definitely the next generation of players coming through. Right, they're the ones to come in and sort of take over the senior leadership role in a few more years' time. Once likes of Williamson and Salvi and co sort of roll on out. And
the batting, I'm not worried about with New Zealand. It is the bowling. Like there's no bowler who's half as good as Trent Boult in the New Zealand domestic scene. I don't care who you talk about and who you like. With respect to everyone, all the usual suspects, but like.
I think that is something like you look at our main bowling weapons, and they're all 33, 34, 30.
Boult and Wagner are like generational talents, and Tim Southee is like a 3 format great, as a bowler. Also, Boult is a 3 format great as well. It's like there's nobody coming up the ranks who's that good. Like Matt Henry's the best probably, but even he's kind of old. Lockie Ferguson is sort of old.
Well, they're all the same. Like Lockie Ferguson's like 31, 32, Bolt's 34, Southee's 34. Like there's not much, and Henry's 31. Like they're all vaguely the same age. So
there's no like 18, 19-year-old guy coming up the rank from a bowling perspective. I don't think.
Yeah, nothing that I don't really follow the domestic stuff as much as I probably should. But I can't think of anybody that's sort of showing up that's come through the ranks that's looking halfway decent, who's managed to get in. There's been a few, I suppose, that have sort of been there. I suppose there's
Yeah.
Jameson's
Jameson has if he can keep from being injured,
yeah.
he has the ability to be like the leader of a bowling attack with like an incredible, like, 'cause he's so tall, he's always going to be difficult to play. It's like an all conditions bowler.
I mean, but he's still 28, so
But he's the first change. He's not going to open the bowling or anything like that.
So yeah, it's finding these ones, and I'm sure they have them, but they just don't seem to be coming into the New Zealand team as much as you could expect. I don't know whether they've been doing any like New Zealand A tours or anything, and if there's things around that coming through, which would be the normal one that would be how you would get people into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because Carl Jamieson could be a bit of an all-rounder as well, like somebody who can bat a bit better than Cummins, but isn't as quick as Cummins, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's a tall guy, and he can bat like quite well.
So it'd be interesting to see as in the next few years how they're replacing that. Does look just what we got? No, it looks like probably the next young talent in New Zealand. Looking at when was this? So earlier this year there was a New Zealand A versus Australia A played up in Brisbane, and for young bowlers there was a William O'Rourke. He's 22, and he bowled since he played for the under-19s. Got 3 wickets for 44 of 10 overs, so nothing too. That's pretty good. In the A team was like Scott Kugelheim and Jacob Duffy and a few others that have been nearish by.
Yeah.
But
we know Kugelhein's ceiling. We know Kugelheim and Duffy's ceiling. Like,
yeah. I think
they're unlikely to have a late career like recovery like Kyle Mills or Chris Martin. They in their 30s came back because they became really clever bowlers, but I don't think Kugelheim or I can see Lockie Ferguson be like that, but I don't think Scott Kugelheim or Duffy are in that sort of bowler.
No, there's nothing that sort of suggested that, from what I've seen, that's going to be how that comes out. So yeah, I think this Will O'Rourke's probably in the New Zealand A team, the one to really pay attention to. What's he got? So yeah, he's in first class, average 28, list A is 23, so nothing too amazing. But I have to say he's the youngest one that's playing it at that level, so see how it goes.
Yeah. But it's not a bad core of young players for New Zealand to build around, especially if they get like people like if Rachin develops his spin and Glenn Phillips develops his spin. Because Glenn Phillips is still reasonably young. He's in his late 20s.
Yeah.
And if Finn Allen ever comes around, then we've got a decent core of young guys.
Yeah. I guess with Ravinder also, it's a question of do we want him to focus on the spin? It's probably useful the next little bit. At some point, like Williamson, perhaps it's better for him to be concentrating on the batting. And that's why Williamson himself has said why he doesn't bowl anymore. Is that he doesn't want to put basically there's no point putting the time and effort into keeping up with his spin bowling and being halfway decent at that when he could take that time and use it to be even better at batting. Like there's a certain amount of practice time he can, I know he puts in like 20-hour days because he's Kane Williamson, but still like he'd prefer just to put that all into batting and just really up those batting stats and really, become the best at that, as opposed to pretty good at that and a middling spin bowler. So same for Ravinja, right? Yeah, sure. In the short term, he's a great bowling option. It gives him an extra dimension to be in the team, and helps that out. But at some point, you feel like, same with Kane, it's like, yeah, you're right. Concentrate on that batting, get really good at that. That's where you're going to do the most help for New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Rachin didn't get picked for the test matches, so at this stage...
I think he might be in the second test one. He's been called closer into the squad now. So.
Yeah, I mean, the team could have really used him in the game. Daryl Mitchell aside, we didn't have too many people come out and perform in the batting, especially in the fourth innings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Williamson, of course, had a century in the first innings. Mitchell 41, Phillips 42. But other than that, Jameson 23, Latham 21. Not really getting many high scores there. As you say, Mitchell 58 in the second innings. And the next highest is Tim Southey with his 34.
Yeah.
He did a good job of almost pretending like he could captain his way to a win somehow. But that's Tim Southey can't, other than a few stellar gems of a batting sort of. This is his lot. He can bludgeon 20 to 30 odds, and that's about it.
Yeah, basically. And it's not fair to ask him to do more than that.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that he should. I think that's, getting a good 20 or 30 out of him is good. That's he's there to do the bowling. And I've said in the past, it's very clear sometimes that he's not there for the batting. He's like, I'll go out there and give it a smash, but if it's quick and it's out and over, I'm back to bowling. That's clearly what he wants to do. I think he's matured a bit as he's taking on the captaincy for the Test team. But yeah, that's always the Tim Southey I know and love.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll be interesting to see how much longer we have of Tim Southey, because he must be close to thinking about his retirement at this point.
You think? Yeah, I mean, nearly 35. That's definitely where he starts to think about, what's happening. But say that's probably helpful. Taking over the captaincy gives some new new challenges, new goals, so that can help there as well. So I mean, be good for him to stay on as long as we can. I always liked Tim Southey. I rate him very much as a bowler.
I think Tim Southey's ideal for being a leader for the next generation of bowlers. I think he's a consummate leader type. So.
But yeah, as long as he's happy playing, as long as he's performing, then it's one of those things that he should be there near the top of those those choices. So they say it's up to him a little bit. He may take the Trent Bolt route and say, you know what, I can actually make a decent amount of money in my twilight years by just focusing T20 and just going around the world and not being beholden to any particular contract and just pick up my money, cash my checks in.
Which he's obviously more than entitled to do.
Oh no, I say once again, for both of them, I don't hold that against him. If that's what, Trent Bolt, that's what he wants to do, that's fine. I think New Zealand should still pick him where they can, because he's clearly one of our best bowlers, but if he wants to go make money, then hey, he's earned that right. Same with Southey. If Southey at some point in the next couple of years is like, I'm going to go earn some money here because, I need it, I want to, sure, go ahead, Tim. Like, that's what you're here for. This is your job, make sure you lead it, as much as you can.
What would you do if you were the BCCI? Next World Cup in South Africa, 14 teams. It's going to be an incredibly hard pitches and all that, and they're gonna have the same format as the '99 World Cup with 2 groups of 7, and then the top 3 from each group go through to the Super Sixes.
All right, yeah.
It's being hosted by South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Namibia.
All right, nice. Yeah, I mean that's going to be a different World Cup, right? So
yeah,
I guess with India, they do have a decent amount of some really good fast bowlers right now, but obviously Shami's not young.
Bumrah is injury prone.
Yeah, so if he stays fit, that's okay. But yeah, how well that can work out, that's
obviously Siraj is incredible.
Yes,
but
and he's a bit younger, isn't he? If I'm remembering correctly.
He is a bit younger, yes.
Yeah. So Gist has that, but well, to be fair, I guess the BCCI has got to continue doing what they've been doing. They've picked up a few decent, fast bowlers in this last couple of cycles. Bumrah and Siraj being the main 2 of that. So if they can, however they've cultivated that, they keep doing that, then hopefully they'll have another one coming through. They'll give them 3 decent fast bowl options again, and maybe that's just enough to see them through.
Yeah, absolutely. The bowling, you think in a World Cup like that, they probably aren't going to use both Ashwin and Jadeja.
No.
It's definitely not going to favour them.
To be fair, I feel like those 2 sort of show that they can bowl anywhere in the world and still be, difficult to play against.
They are going to be on in a year.
They will be a bit older, yeah. But there's that as well, because though them being, slower bowlers does give them a little bit more longevity. So I think from an Indian perspective, you would hope that they would still be producing good results and near prime performance. So, but that might be the next World Cup. Might be the last of sort of this golden generation of Indian players. Their last, big tournament.
I mean, are we really going to see Virat Kohli in another World Cup?
After that, probably not.
I wouldn't put it past him because he's the king, but
yeah, he's Virat Kohli. Yeah. Who knows? Just one of those things. Like maybe he doesn't seem to be slowing down.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's 4 more years.
Undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this next one's probably going to be most of the golden generation of Indian players, probably the last one. Rahul, he'll be 35, nearly 36. Rohit Sharma probably won't be. He's already 36 now, so I don't think he'll. So maybe.
No, I don't think Rohit Sharma will be there.
I doubt it.
Virat Kohli, maybe, but only because he's Virat. Like, if you told me anybody else, I'd be like, nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly, but maybe. It's like, Rohit be the other one that's possible, but I suppose if he's 36 already, like, no. It's too much even for him.
Like, New Zealand might possibly still have Kane Williamson.
Possibly, yeah.
That might even still be the captain of the ODI team.
Oh, well, quite likely. I mean, if he's there.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, I mean, why not? It's up to him. At this point, those sort of things are up to him, right? About whether he stays on in what capacity. I mean, 4 years' time he'd be 37, I think. Definitely still be there. Probably still feeling capable enough and there enough to captain. He might, at that point, be more as a mentor for the next captain and be handing it down to whoever's taking over. and being there as sort of the mentor and just the other statesman. But
It's up to him.
it's up to him. But say other than the bowling, as we've already gone over, I think New Zealand will look pretty solid going into that World Cup. And being South Africa, it's potentially a little better for us, though. So we need to potentially sort out some of our fast bowling things. Like Lockie Ferguson will be 36. Obviously, Southey and Bolt will be probably too old, 38-ish. Well, 38 for both of them. So
Yeah.
probably a bit too far for them being fast bowlers.
Yeah, by then you'd hope we have another good white bowler.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Adam Milne?
Well, Adam Milne's currently 31, so he'll be 35. So yeah, he can still be there.
Late career renaissance.
Yeah. Matt Henry will be 35. And Lockie Ferguson will be 36. Probably still okay. It'll be his last hurrah.
Yeah, but we'd probably be really looking for some new young bowlers at that point.
We do need them there. That's sort of the next World Cups where that next crop of young bowlers is sort of going to come through and be blooding themselves and proving themselves coming through, where they're coming of age and doing the work as well. And these the current crop of bowlers are sort of the so seeing them in and showing the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Satna will be 35 in the next one, same as Sodhi. Once again, spin bowlers give them a bit more of a longevity, but
I feel like there's gonna be a few more spin bowlers coming up. At that point, maybe even Glenn Phillips might be like a spin bowling version of Nathan Astle in ODIs. Yeah.
That is possible. So and Glenn Phillips is only 26, so plenty of time there.
And it's worth it, I think.
Glenn Phillips,
to develop his spin bowling.
Yeah, definitely. He's much more sort of middle order batter, develop into an all-rounder, especially in an ODI sense, of being able to provide a good number of overs of off break is definitely going to help.
Oh yeah. Now the Australians managed to kind of pull a fast one on everyone and and win the tournament.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I feel like deservedly. Like they timed everything correctly.
Yeah, you can't take it.
To win the tournament. To win the tournament.
You can't take it away from them. Like you say, it was almost the greatest tournament by them. Like started poorly, but then built into it and had some magical games and magical innings to really show why they should have won it, and they did. And I think from their point of view, that final was perhaps almost perfection. Like it seemed to be just their greatest game, and that's what you want. Like that was them peaking at the right time. They get to the final, and that's like the peak performance that they could have put out.
Yeah, like every thing worked properly the way you would have wanted as an Australia fan, and I think Pat Cummins basically won the match with his captaincy.
Yeah.
He just read something on the pitch that nobody else saw.
Yeah, he was a captaincy masterclass by Pat Cummins. He really just... I know going into the tournament there was plenty of people that, especially in Australia, that sort of doubted whether he was the right person for it. Yeah. But I think this tournament showed that yes, he knew what he was doing. Yes, he was a great captain, and yes, he could marshal the entire team to perform in the way, as you say, and could read the game and knew when to make the changes, what to do. Like it was an amazing tournament for him. as captain, and obviously as a bowler. But
yeah, it's like basically a comeback performance from him.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be interesting because it wouldn't surprise me if we had the same 4 semi-finalists, because South Africa hosting the next World Cup, no reason why they can't make the semi-finals.
Exactly. They say at home they should be very good and very strong. Once again, I think with South Africa cricket, it just comes down to the mental aspect of the game and whether they can hold their nerve and finally, break through their own barriers.
Yeah. So we're saying no, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Potentially they make semi-final again, as you say, and then, crash out again. Because that's just the South African way.
Yeah. Yeah. Some jerseys are just cursed.
Exactly. So yeah, I think you're right. Say India seems to have a great system going, so say it is different pitches and stuff, but I think they'll still be in that top 4. Australia is Australia, and they're playing South Africa, so that's just almost second home for them. So yeah. And Australia's always going to churn out top talent, so you don't even have to worry too much about, player turnover or moving things. Australia always seems to they've just got a system that's just worked for years and years, and they get that. And as we've gone through, I think New Zealand still have a decent team. So maybe it will depend on exactly what bowlers come through and how they develop over the next 4 years that may break that run, but I think New Zealand into another semi-final.
Yeah, especially if Kane Williamson is still there.
Yeah, I think with our batters, the core of our batters are still there and they're still performing at the level we know they can. They'll be carrying that team. So it'll come down to which of the bowlers, the current core of bowlers, is left, how they're performing, who's coming in to replace people, and how that's sort of working its way through. I mean, I think England will probably turn things around and they'll be dangerous again. But yeah. I mean, they're not going to have as bad a tournament as this time. That can almost be guaranteed. But Pakistan's another one. Like, it's Pakistan. Like, they could just randomly pull out the blinder and have it, but they sort of threatened to do that this tournament, and then Pakistan did anyway, so for lack of a better verb.
You might see something from Zimbabwe.
Yeah. That's
as well.
Have an extra 4 teams in there to
Zimbabwe, the West Indies are hosting the T20 World Cup next year, so they might have a bit of a renaissance. I don't know. I feel like the West Indies are due for a win of some sort.
They are due, but I don't see them
like a win in luck. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but sometimes you're going to make your own luck, and I don't see the current West Indies team having the ability to sort of generate the luck needed to generate the more luck, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is the West Indies, and if anything, they can just pull out performances and wow everybody, right? And just be like, no, we were always this good. And you're like, yeah, you're right, you were always this good. Why did we doubt you? And then they can go into the slumps that they're sort of now. So, same thing. It's Say World Cup, T20 World Cup next year. They'll be interesting at home. West Indies are always strong when they're playing at home. So there'll be that, and that could fuel that process for the next 4 years, looking at the ODI World Cup in South Africa, as you say. And so if they do well next year, their home T20 World Cup, that will push that further, I think. But if they disappoint, then that may be the long decline continues.
Yeah. It'll be one of those things. Like, obviously, we're all rooting for the West Indies. We want to see, we know the region still makes great players. We want to see them do well in the maroon uniform.
Yeah. I think the West Indies is pretty much everybody's second team, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves the West Indies. And when they're in top form, they're just such a wonderful team to watch. And, and always churn out good games, whatever format it is, when they're in that top form. It's just, a delight to watch.
Yeah. So it'll be definitely an interesting tournament lead up. Well, there is already things about whether or not they will change the format. So we'll have to watch this space.
Yeah.
They want to make sure, I think there's a thing where they want the setup to make sure India are unlikely to get eliminated early, which I think is fine. India doesn't need extra help. They're already really good.
Yeah, exactly. Strangely enough, India is a really good team.
Yeah. So we'll see how that pans out, but I think that's all we have time for today. And we'll look forward to hearing from you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.